the lights and you can delete those parts. This thing is real light. This is probably the lightest drum machine I got. This one is very similar to that one. Actually, it's identical. It's the only difference is just color. It's the Zoom Rhythm Track RT123. It's actually the same drum machine, just in a different color. That's why I don't use that one, because I pull it out. I'm like, I don't even remember using this one anytime or any recently, and that's why, because I used that one, so I don't need to use that one. Now this is probably one of my favorite drum machines too. It is the Zoom Rhythm Track RT223, and that one is the 123. If you're looking to do kind of the standard pop R&B stuff, these are more or less straightforward, straight lace drum patches in here. It's not really that rap stuff. It's not any of that hip hop stuff. So if you're looking for a drum machine, say, hey, I just want some traditional sounds with some punch. And you can also program as far as the effects. So you can kind of get that ambience, studio ambience sound that you want. It also takes batteries too. I picked this one up for about $100. And it's worth it. Zoom, again, makes some really nice drum machines. Again, it's like maybe 500 patterns in here, about 300 drum patches. Actually, that drum machine there is featured in the CD that I'm going to release soon. And the title track, I actually use that drum machine. It has some really nice drums in it. One of my favorite drum machines, but the programmability is jacked. It is the Street Box by Zoom SB246. To me, if I had to describe this, I would say it's a baby MPC, because it has those type of snares and kicks that you would find on the song files of Kai MP60. So when this first came out, and it is what it is, it's the Street Box. If you're looking for that dirty, gritty sound, that hip hop stuff, it could be found here, because that was the problem with the majority of drum machines. They sound too polished, too professional. They didn't have that gritty edge that R&B tracks usually have now on their tracks. And you can achieve that with this. They discontinued this. This actually should have been in manufacture or still in production to this date. But technology changes so quickly. But I love this thing. I mean, when I first heard it, I was like, whoa. A Kai MP60, because I've had a couple of Kai MP60s, and here is the problem with the Kai MP60: too expensive, too fucking big. The display is so goddamn tiny that you need a magnifying glass to read it. And I bought mine back in when I was in my early 30s. I know I can't read that tiny screen now. Getting older, the vision is going. I've never had this problem with my Kai MP60 because I didn't keep them long enough. The disk drives go out, because you think about it, it's a pain in the ass, because when you want to load up a whole full set of drums, you got to put that disc in there, load that one drum, and then you might have a drum sound from another card. Got to stick that out and put that card in. And what you start to do is get a little smarter. You say, I'm going to customize my kits and put all my kits on one disc. And even when you do that, it still took a long time to spin and load. And then I just couldn't get that swing that Teddy Riley and all those other guys did. And I never used it for sequencing other than programming drums. But you could do so much with the Kai MB60, but I was like, I just don't have the patience. This thing is it's huge. It's hard to, the display is real small and hard to read, But in order to acquire that type of sound, drum sounds back in the day, you had to have something like that. It's a drum sampler, But when this thing came around, I was like, man, all my drum sounds that I would normally use off Kai MP60 are here. They compress, they crunchy, they got that street sound to it. Now here's the problem with this drum machine. It has two problems to me. The first one is, like I told you before, other drum machines are pretty straightforward. I program a pattern in pattern number 1. I make a copy of it so I can add my variations on the pattern number 2. So when I go back to play pattern number 1 and as it's playing, I select 2. It goes smoothly into it after pattern number 1 has completed the process. It's cycling bar. This one, you got 2 patterns. You got pattern number 1 going, and it might be a 4 to 8 bar pattern. When you select the next pattern, wherever pattern number 1 is at that point at that given time, it goes straight to pattern number 2. It doesn't play out, and until it's finished and play right into it. real jacked up. Real jacked up because again, the way most drum programmers program their drums, that's how they do it. They create a first pattern and then they make a copy of it and then they add variations. But with this, you can't do that. And then the issue with the MIDI, it's only MIDI in. So you got to get a MIDI through box because what's going to happen is when you just use the MIDI in, as you have your master keyboard controller getting ready to start the sequence, which triggers the drums, you hit the start button. In some cases, what's going to happen, you're going to notice this. You listen to the tracks like, damn, the drums slow down. And then the drum is kind of off from the sequence from the master keyboard. And this is the only drum machine that does this. All the drum machines I got, as soon as I hit that play button off the master controller, it via MIDI, through MIDI, it triggers the signal to say, okay, drum machine, come on now. And it comes on and it stays locked. But this thing, if you don't have a MIDI through box, it's going to start lagging. And it's going to start lagging bad. So that sums up what I have physically here. Like I told you, I got others throughout various studios. But I love drum machines. And they don't replace drummers, but they're very convenient when late at night you're working on a track and, you can't have full-fledged drums going in the middle of the night. And then you kind of get an idea of how you want your rhythm to be once you do go into a studio with a real drummer. And also what drum machines does, what most people don't really realize, it helps you become a better timekeeper yourself. After playing alone and locking in, you start to develop the ability to lock in as opposed to you lagging, you speeding up, you slowing down. So that's another thing that I love about working with drum machines. It helps you with your inner clock, to lock in and keep the rhythm. But there you have it. So some of my drum machines, I love them. I love the sounds. I love the programmability of most of them, with the exception of the new ones. Because like I told you, the new ones are geared towards dudes that make beats. As opposed to, again, musicians that just want something to keep the rhythm while they play over the rhythm. So until next time, take care. Let's make sure I don't have any more that I forgot about. Take care and thanks for watching.